Welcome to another episode of Comedy Wham Presents with me, your host Valerie, and sometime kitty co-hosts Miss Purrington and Mookie. ComedyWham.com is your place to go for features about all Austin comedy. In addition to podcasts, Comedy Wham brings you articles, album reviews, our advice column, Rochelle Takes on Comedy, our festivals page listing upcoming festivals from across the country and the world, and our 2023 FPIA contest page. We're best known for our events page for live comedy shows in Austin, Houston, and DFW, where 100% of the entries you see come from comics and producers. If you want your show featured on the calendar, click the Submit a Show button from the top of the homepage or events page to complete the short survey. It's free and easy. Tag us on your Instagram stories and we'll share your show promo to our Instagram followers. Want to support these resources we provide? Well, you can donate to Comedy Wham on PayPal, Venmo, or even Patreon. Click the Support CW icon on our homepage to see the ways that you can help us. Now back to our podcast. Launched in 2016, the Podcast Project brings you funny people and their stories. As a fan, I like to delve into a comic's background and motivations, and will usually take a detour along the way. Consider the interview a way for you to get to know the folks that make the Austin comedy scene one of the best in the country. If you like this podcast, please rate and review us. Today, I'm talking to somebody who's a member of Juice Bar, a monthly Austin-based sketch show, the co-host of Ketchup and Spice, a podcast between two friends living in different states, host of Naked Brunch, the podcast and YouTube series, and the only non-food related credit that I'll be reading, she was in the 2023 ATX Sketchfest. And now Comedy Wham presents our guest, Syd Goin.
Hello. Okay, that wasn't as bad as I was thinking it's going to be. It was very straight. I like that. It was a perfect intro. Thank you so much.
You're very welcome, Syd. You were terrified that I was going to be reading I don't know, what did you think I was going to?
No, you know what? I don't know. I guess I just don't like hearing people talk about me. And that's just it. I'm just like, ooh, don't recognize me as a being, please.
Oh my gosh, yeah. You do know that you're in performance,
no,
right?
No, it's true. It's a conundrum, and I don't know what to say.
Well, I really love your laugh.
Oh, thank you.
I watched Naked Brunch, and that was one of the funniest parts of watching Naked Brunch, which, people that are listening to this who don't know or haven't watched Naked Brunch, they're like, what the hell?
Yeah.
Is that on a porno show or what? And it's not.
It's not.
But we're going to get into Naked Brunch and, just how naked do people get? But first, we're going to start with my official icebreaker question.
Love it.
Which is one word to describe your past.
My past? Oh, regret.
What?
I'll just regret.
Okay.
I regret everything. I've never made the right choice ever in my life. Except falling in love with my partner. But that was not a choice. I almost feel like that was unavoidable. And sometimes I'm not even sure that was the right thing to do. I always joke to him that I'm just like, oh, if I didn't fall in love with you, maybe I would be somewhere else in my career, my life. But no, yeah, I don't know. I'm full of regret about my past. I think
gosh.
Yeah. It's not good. It's not good to feel that way, and I think it keeps me stuck in the past. So I'm trying to not feel that way. So maybe I should throw a hopeful term out there as to manifest this turning a new leaf. Maybe my past is chaotic. That's not better. Okay, that's not better. We'll come back to that.
Where did you grow up?
So I'm born and raised in Hawaii. I grew up on the west side of Oahu in a little town called Kapolei. And then we moved to Honolulu when I was in high school.
Okay.
Yeah.
Was that a big change? Because you think, most stateside people think, oh, Hawaii, it's all beautiful, it's all the same, it's homogenous. So was it a big deal for you making that move, especially in high school?
Oh, yeah. Not really, just because I went to high school in Honolulu, so we were always there. Or sorry, not just high school. I went to school in Honolulu, so we were always in town. So it wasn't like a huge transition, to be honest. It was like better too because it was just it was like a far drive for us. It'd be like an hour drive to school every morning. So like, I don't know. I remember getting up at like 5 a.m. and leaving at like, 5:45 just to like beat some of the extreme traffic, and then just waiting at like my dad would take us to this diner called Zippy's. It's a very popular diner in Hawaii, and we would just like eat breakfast or like sleep at Zippy's until school started at 8 because we get there like early.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oof, that's a tough life.
It was rough.
Yeah, especially as a kid. I mean, you need your sleep. And...
Yeah. I think that like I have a terrible sleep habits now because of that. Well, I like to blame my parents for everything. So.
Amen.
So I'm in therapy.
Yeah. Is that why you're an early bird? I didn't say it, but for the record, you have broken all records. You are probably episode like 298 or something.
Ooh.
And in all of my interviews, nobody has ever asked for a 9 a.m. interview spot.
I know. I was like, is that aggressive and rude? But I will caveat, like I'm trying to shoot this little project later, and I constantly do this where I like double book myself.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, but I could still do it, as long as it's like early.
Yeah.
And I went to bed at like 3 a.m. So sorry if I'm like delirious.
Oh my gosh.
Terrible sleeping habits.
Yeah.
But
Clearly.
yeah, but so thank you for doing this early. But yes, I was like, oh shoot, I'm gonna do this, but I also want to do this. So I'm very open to doing things at any time because I'm constantly.
You don't sleep.
I don't sleep. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, it's hard to sleep when you're running from your demons.
Yeah.
So yeah. Sorry, I don't know why I said that. That was dramatic.
This is the 3 a.m. This is going to make this episode
Yes.
really fun. Okay, so one of the things, I have not met you in person before, although I did see you at ATX Sketchfest. I saw you, I can't remember if it was the Friday night, right before Loftus. Oh, I should remember her name.
Jamie Loftus?
Yes, before her thing. And one of the things that I had wanted to watch you perform, but I don't get out as often as I should. But everybody that brought you up said you are the nicest person.
Oh my god.
So I'm trying to reconcile my life is full of regret. Blame my parents for everything. The demons are chasing me. I don't sleep, with everyone that I've talked to saying you're the nicest, sweetest person.
Oh my god, that's so. I'm happy to hear that. I really do try to be nice. Well, you know what? I'm sure like my good friends would have different things to say. Like I'm sure like the longer you get to know me, the more you're like, oh, okay.
No, not so much. I'm multitasking here.
Oh,
I'm
no worries.
feeling that it is really warm in here, and so I'm changing the thermostat.
Well,
Because if I'm gonna laugh, I'm gonna sweat. So, and I'm gonna blame you for making me laugh.
and that's fair. Yeah, I did bring a lot of heat in. I don't even know what that means. I just said it.
Okay, so did you perform when you were in school?
Yeah, I always loved performing, and I would perform. Well, I auditioned for a lot of things in high school. So in middle school, I guess I don't know. I just didn't know what opportunities there were. I remember taking an acting class, like in 5th grade, and just loving it and being really about it. And then after that, just like not really knowing where to plug in. And then in high school, they started doing like plays and stuff.
Sure.
So mostly musicals. And I remember I auditioned for West Side Story because it's my favorite musical. Like I saw that when I was, I don't know, super young, and I was just like, oh, this is exactly what I want to do. Like I wanted to be Anita, I was like, yes, sexy, confident, like a boss. And and I auditioned and it was so bad. Like I knew it was going bad as I was doing it. But I was like delusional. I was like, well, maybe everyone else will be really bad too. But I didn't get in, and it was so heartbreaking, and I cried, and and that happened with like nearly every musical I auditioned for in high school.
But were you training in other ways, or you were just going for it?
I was like kind of taking like dance classes here and there. Like now when I think about it, I'm like, oh, like you weren't putting in the work. But at the time, you're just kind of like, no, it's natural.
Invincible,
like you're born with it.
They're gonna see my natural talent.
Exactly. I really lived by that like fantasy, like Naomi Campbell's story where like someone just saw her on the street and was like, you're special. And I was like, say me. Not true. You gotta look like Naomi Campbell for that to happen, So yeah, I just, I don't know, I think like that experience really like kind of made me scared to like pursue performing. So, I had plans to like go to New York. So I only applied to New York colleges. Was definitely going to go to college. Like that's just, my family was like, you're going, like we can do it. So you're going to go.
Yeah.
And I really wanted to go to acting school. Like that was in my heart of hearts. And I think my dad was like very on board, and my mom like said she was, but she would always like caveat like, yeah, you should do what you want, but just make sure you have something to fall back on, like in case. And I was scared because like, high school had proved to me like, maybe you're not good at this. So like probably have something in your back pocket. And yeah,
Did you feel like you had anything that you could that you could have as your backup plan?
So I thought I was gonna pursue psychology, which is equally as fantastical as trying to act. And to be honest, like I didn't realize, like I didn't want to get a PhD or anything. Like that was never my dream. Like I thought I could like get a psychology degree and just like go do that. No. So much school's involved. And I was like, oh, whoopsie daisy. Very stupid. I did college so dumb. I didn't know about it. Like I didn't know how important internships were. I like worked at a grocery store and then like Starbucks all through college to like have money. Got out and everyone's like, oh, you have no experience. Oh. And I was like, but I just did all this school. What are you saying to me? So then, I was like complaining to everyone about not having a job, and a friend of mine was working on a weird reality series for FYI. It was like I don't know if you know that
I've
channel.
heard of it, yeah.
And was like, why don't you be a PA on this show? And I was like, great. Huh. And then after that, you just like, it's easy to get PA gigs because it's an awful hard life and hard job. So I just like fell into that, and then was just missing performing so much. Like I just hadn't really done it in a while. I was like trying to do like acting gigs here and there.
Let me interrupt because we missed an element.
So sorry.
No, please.
I don't know. Okay, wait. No. Also, I have a really bad habit of just like saying sorry. Oh. I do mean it because I genuinely feel sorry for my existence, like my every breath. But I need to stop saying it. Sorry. I know it's annoying. It's something I'm working on.
I am nearly militant at telling people stop saying you're sorry.
Well, maybe this is where I
might break you.
Okay, perfect. This is where I've come to the I'll finally get over this.
I took one psychology class, maybe two, and I now consider myself with almost 300 episodes under my belt. I am an armchair psychologist.
Yeah.
No, I'm kidding. No, You talked about focusing on going to college in New York, and then we started talking about what you were studying and what you did when you graduated. But did you end up getting to New York?
Oh yeah. I went to
college.
I went to college in New York. Like was thought I was gonna also like audition for things, and like yes, I did here and there. I didn't like really go for it. Like I didn't try to get an agent. I didn't really, I also just like didn't have a lot of confidence. I'm realizing now. I think I thought I did, but I really was just like, I think, the high school I went to too was like it was Obama's high school, so like everyone there is amazing, right? Like everyone there is so smart, so talented, so charismatic, so like. Just like very well-rounded humans. Like it's very hard you could like throw a rock and just like everyone is a phenomenal person and they're gonna do great things. And I think I realized that I was just like not one of those people. So I think, like I just didn't have the confidence, which made me not have the drive to really just like do what I wanted to do. And And yeah, I just focused on school and was like working and like, finding friends and stuff. And then, yeah, once I started working in as a PA, I was like, I need to perform. Like my life is I'm just like so sad all the time. So I was like, oh, maybe I should try like stand up. And I went to a few mics and just watched at first because it's like nerve wracking,
Yeah.
And then after the third one I watched, I was like, okay, I'm getting on the next one. And I did, and like it actually went okay. I feel like that's most comic stories. Like you're like, oh, okay, wait, no, I can do this. And you go to the next one, and it was okay. The third one, I bombed so incredibly hard. And then it was like, oh, did I actually do okay those other times, or was I just like in like a blur of adrenaline and like not really like?
Or your friends were there.
No,
in some
I
cases.
did not tell
Right.
anyone. Obviously,
Yeah,
I was very
yeah.
ashamed of this path. I don't think I even told my partner. I was just like secretly going out, like, okay. But yeah, I don't know.
And did you know anything much about stand-up? Because you seem to be like musicals and theaters and acting.
Well, I loved watching stand-up.
Okay.
Like I really loved watching stand-up. I didn't think that. I think I never saw myself doing it because it was like, I just thought people were so smart and so clever with the wordplay, and I never felt that for myself. But like, I think as I got older and I was watching people like John Early and like Kate Berlant, who like have a different, like a more alternative style, I was like, oh, maybe like there is a way I could like do this. There's more of a performative aspect to it that
Yeah.
I'm thinking. Because like a lot of comics that I grew up watching, like Margaret Cho, oh my God, now all the names are escaping me. Maybe I'm nervous or it's the 3 a.m. But they just seem so real and authentic on stage. And like, I was like, oh, there's no way I could ever be that comfortable.
Sure.
So yeah, I don't know, like seeing different styles. Oh, and like I started getting really obsessed with like newer comics. Like at the time when I started thinking I could get on stage, like Aparna Nancherla is like a huge, like when I first saw her, I was like, oh my God, this girl's incredible. Like she's so funny and she's so smart. But it wasn't, it seemed like, I was like, okay, maybe like I can definitely try to do this. There's like a way to fit in. So yeah, I'm sorry, I'm like rambling and I don't know where my thoughts are going.
Well, so you gave stand-up a try.
Yes.
And then third time you bombed.
Yeah, and then it
think-
took me so long to get back into it. And it always happens. Like I haven't done stand-up in a while, to be honest with you. Just one, there seems to be more sketch and improv opportunities in my like easier.
Yeah.
So I've been like doing more of that, but yeah, I just like stuck with it. I would like keep taking like 2-3 week breaks in between every time I bombed. I'm like very sensitive. Yeah.
Yeah.
Every time I like think about comedy and like think about the process, I'm like, your whole personality is so wrong for this. Cause like I am so sensitive and I care what everyone thinks about me.
Yeah.
And I'm constantly like, oh, everyone hates me and I'm awful. And it's like,
I mean, in a sense, you're like the perfect personality because that's
Fair.
a running theme, especially
Yeah.
new comics. They,
Yeah.
I dabbled, and I remember because I wanted the understanding of what is it like, and I totally understood I don't fit in. Nobody's likes me, and I mean. Your personality, what you've told me so far, fits perfectly.
That's true. I guess no, that is totally true. I guess I meant like like after like you bomb, some people just can get right back out there.
Yeah.
Like, and I respect
You
that
need
so
to
much.
lick your
And
wounds
me,
and
yeah, I'm like,
recover.
well, I need to just hide in a hole
Yeah.
for like 7 to 12 business days. Just
Business
recoup.
days,
Yeah,
not day, just days.
yeah.
And you're doing this too in a highly competitive city.
Yeah. I mean, I did start. Yeah, I started in New York, and I would say like coming here, it's equally as competitive, if not like, maybe a little more here now. I mean, I
Yeah.
haven't lived in New York in 3 years, so I don't know. I'm speaking out of my butthole, but it was. But like I realized, I made it harder for myself because I would go to the mic and then just like do my set and leave and like not talk to anyone, or I would like stay and watch, to be polite. You do that, I think, for you spend an hour or longer at the mic because you're like, I want to be here for the other people. But then I would just leave and not talk to anyone. So it was like I was isolating myself.
Yeah.
And I would say just like 6 months before COVID hit, I really started like talking with people and realizing like, oh, no one's trying to shit on me. Everyone's like, hey, that was like good, or like, we should like, go right or like hang out. And I was like, oh, people are like nice.
Yeah.
Like most people. Obviously there's always a person that's not, but I started like building a little bit of a community and like started getting shows here and there. And then my friend and I started a show, and then COVID hit and then I moved here.
Were you doing sketch and improv in New York at all at this point?
I took classes at the UCB.
Ooh, nice.
Very expensive. I could not keep up. I could not keep up with it. And I did really like it, but I think it's so competitive out there for that specifically. Like, and again, I was not connecting with people, not trying to like, do work together.
Yeah.
Because I guess again, I think I still had that mentality of like, well, if I have this thing, people will recognize it and they'll come to me, which is like such not the way to live your life. If you want to do something, you have to let people know because no one can read your mind. So I think, again, I was like isolating myself in that way. So this is why I say my past is full of regret. I just like think that I tried to do things in such like on my own, like an island, and like that's just not how anything works.
Yeah.
And I am glad I learned it moving here. Like when I started going to mics here and like taking improv here, like I really made a point to just like talk with everyone and be like, I want to hang out, like let's blah blah. Sometimes it worked out, sometimes it didn't, but I found the process and journey a lot more rewarding and more fun since doing that. Yeah. Which is like why I do this anyway, right? We all have fun doing it. Right. And I was like torturing myself. I don't know why before. So yeah.
Well, it's a lot of stress. You're moving away from your home like a long distance, and you've been knocked down a few times. You didn't get Anita in West Side Story.
No, and it still haunts me to this day.
One day.
One day. No, never. Yeah. I cannot do it. I absolutely can't do that.
You could do a sketch.
I could do
an adaptation.
That's a good idea.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then you're in this competitive environment, and I would imagine it's literally like you're fighting for your life, and there's only so much that your brain and your psychology can process. So you were bringing home these you brought with you in your suitcase from Hawaii to New York the regrets, I'm not good enough, I went to this high school with these incredible people, and now you're in this like environment that's insane.
Yeah.
You're just trying to survive. No wonder you couldn't really like take the time to think, oh, maybe if I tried to have connection with people, or maybe if I just kept at it instead of, giving myself the 7 to 10 business days to go back.
Yeah.
So it's completely understandable that your brain wasn't allowing you to kind of think about ways to connect and be kinder to yourself.
Yeah. Hey man, I feel like that one psychology course you took is really showing.
Yeah.
Wow. I feel lighter. We've solved it. Totally. No.
Yes! Another successful patient.
Yeah.
So obviously the move to Austin, it sounds like the timing was COVID driven.
No.
Oh.
And not at all.
Oh, okay.
That's the funny, well, not funny. That's the, I don't even know what to call it. So my partner is from outside of Dallas.
Okay.
And for like the last 4 years we were living in New York, he was like, I want to move back to Texas.
Oh, this is like a long time
It was
partner.
a long time coming. Yeah.
No,
oh, yeah.
It's like
I have been with him for 12 years now.
Oh my gosh.
I know.
Wow.
He is so much a part of my identity. It's upsetting.
Well, maybe I need to sit down with him and say, look, Syd's an angel. You need to help. No, I'm just kidding. No. Okay.
He had been saying that for a while, and I fully thought he was kidding. I was like, that is so cute. We live in New York, baby.
Texas has that effect.
Yeah.
It really does. Because I left, and I came back.
Came back? Okay.
Yeah.
Well, yeah. So that's why, like before COVID had even, like a year before, he was like, I'm not re-signing this lease. So like, you can come with me or you cannot. And I was like, oh God, I guess I'm coming with you. Yeah, so then we thought we would like have one last year to like live it up in the city, and then lockdown happened. And so we spent our entire last year basically in our one bedroom apartment together.
Oh my gosh.
So yeah, I think leaving New York, it was like hard for me, but at the same time, actually no, I'm not gonna, it was like really hard. I really didn't want to leave. Like I think I just got so used to the pace, and like I had my friends there, and like I said, I was just starting to build that comedy community, so like I was like kind of excited for it, and then yeah, it just felt like I was leaving so much behind.
Yeah.
So the first year was really hard of transitioning.
And why Austin versus if he was near?
Yeah, I think, to be honest, so he's like from a suburb outside of Dallas, and every time we had gone to Dallas proper, I was just like, it's not my vibe. It didn't seem like there was much culture there.
And yet there's so much culture there.
Okay.
There's amazing museums.
Okay.
Theater, musical, like performing, like classical music stuff. There's a lot of performance, but it's like hoity-toity stuff.
Got you. Okay. Yeah, I guess from my bits and pieces of it, I was just like, this doesn't feel. But again, I'm comparing it to New York. And I think nothing's gonna live up to that. So like coming here, I was like, yeah, it's definitely smaller, but it's like there seems to be pockets of like cool things happening. And I was like, I guess this is where I could, if we had to move, this is where I could live.
Yeah.
And he felt the same way.
So, that's good.
Yeah. He was like, yeah, same. Yeah.
So that was in 21 then?
2020, right? Because that's
right, but you said you spent a year in the one bedroom apartment.
Yeah, so I think it was like literally just before, because I think we were like supposed to resign our lease in October. I don't know.
Okay.
We moved around October, so yeah, it was just
then.
truly months before this all happened.
Yeah.
We were like not resigning. We're just gonna take this last year.
Yeah. And then you come to the wild, wild west because in comparison, New York was like super strict on its lockdown versus Texas was like, hey, come on down.
Yeah, I will say Austin was like, because I was hearing, on the news that Texas was, but like Austin was not as wild as I thought it was going to be. Like there were still people wearing masks and stuff. Like, yeah, it was way more relaxed, but not, and not as bad as I thought it was going to be. I didn't want to say bad, but I did. It was not.
So what steps did you take to kind of get your toes back into performing comedy?
Yeah, I just like looked up a mic and was like, just go do this. Like you have to do something.
Yeah.
And yeah, I think the first mic I went to was an all woman, like it was a queer and all ladies mic, which felt like safer. I was like, this is a good place to start. Very supportive generally.
Yes.
Met some folks there, and then I did one at Creek in the Cave, which went awful. But then I just like started meeting people and like going, and then I started doing classes at the Hideout, and that was really helpful. Then I did classes at Cold Town. So yeah, I just had to like go do something.
Yeah. But you're still fighting yourself with your innate personality type.
Yeah, for sure. I think because I miss doing stand-up, and like I the satisfaction of like writing something and then like getting it, refining it, and like it does well it feels so good.
Yeah.
But I'm finding myself like, like, oh, improv, like it's just like right here, like the opportunity's right here, like you don't have to like work for it or chase it. And I'm like, great, we'll just do that. And I just found like I'm not having time to like sit down and write, or like by the time I'm done with everything, I'm like, do I want to go to a mic and like possibly like suck some of my energy out? But I do need to get back and do it. I just have to do it. But I think also like I'm doing like a show at Cold Town called Immaterial Girl, where like I bring comics on and they have to roll a dice, and if they roll a certain number, they can do their set. But if they roll other numbers, they have to like use this wheel of prompts that I've made. So I think like I've been getting a little taste of it every now and then, that I'm not like really pushing myself to go to mics anymore. Yeah.
Well, do you like improv and sketch more? Do you think that's what's happening?
It's possible. But it's like, it's such a different like muscle that you're working. So like, yeah, I definitely love it. I don't know if I like it more, but it satisfies a different part of my comedy soul.
Yeah.
So I feel like I'm like, my cup overfloweth in that way. And then like, I feel it depleting, in the stand-up realm for sure.
So when did you start doing sketch?
I like started doing it more seriously here.
Okay.
Because I just took a class in New York and like would like write here and there. But I just started taking it more seriously here. And thanks to Juice Bar, which has been, I love them so much. Like it's just such a good crew of folks, and everyone's really like, you know, talented and really good at writing and just great performers. So it's been, I feel very lucky to be in this group with them. And it's so like structured. Like it's like, I think that's another thing. Like I think sometimes I just need to put a structure in place, because if I don't and it's like too free, I'm like, well, whatever, like I'll get to it, you know. I love to procrastinate. It's like one of my favorite hobbies. Procrastinate and spiral. Yeah.
Now I have to ask a pointed question here. Did you have to audition for Juice Bar?
Oh, no.
Oh, okay. Damn it.
Yeah.
I was gonna say, see, you got one.
No, I didn't have to. It was yeah, it was like such, I think that's another thing here, is like I really do need to like put myself in more difficult situations, like for instance auditioning, or like trying to get like things like that, just because it's been so easy here, right, to get into like groups and stuff. So yeah, I was in an improv class with one of the members, and they were like, "Do you write?" I was like, "Yes." I was like, come just see if you want to join. It's like, great.
And you do you still do the podcast, the catch up?
No, you know what? That was it's so funny. My friend, so we met working in as PAs, and now they are a costumer. So it's like the lifestyle's very busy, and we were doing it like to keep in touch. But I think, you know, it just petered out.
Yeah.
And I have to be honest, like same with the Naked Brunch, because I'm doing it all alone. The editing, like the filming, the doing it, love it, great.
Yeah.
Could do it constantly, but the editing is so long, and I was just like doing it on my own. So I was like, oof, the amount of hours, I'm like not sure it's like worth it.
Yeah.
I do want to like pick it back up, because it was fun, and I do, especially like the Naked Brunch, like I missed that a little, but even with that, I was like coming up with the games, like fresh games for every guest, and I was starting to run out of ideas. I think because I did have such a specific premise for it. I might try to bring it back with like looser vibes, but yeah.
So what was? Tell the audience now that we've
Yes.
teased and mentioned Naked Brunch like a million times.
Naked Brunch.
What is the premise
So,
of Naked Brunch?
Naked Brunch, I don't know why that name stuck in my head, and I thought it would be fun to like talk with comics or anyone, like just friends of mine, and we would be naked having brunch. But okay, by naked, I truly mean like I am topless, but we're wearing aprons. And then my guests, I'm just like, whatever you feel comfortable with, like you can do.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna make anyone take their shirt off, but most people feel comfortable doing it. So, and then I was like, okay, but like, what's the idea? Like, what is Naked Brunch? And I was like, oh, I want people to like, I want to get down to the naked truth over brunch. Like that's the concept. But I was like, but what is the naked truth? Like, what does that even mean? And like, I was just thinking about, I guess like the naked truth is like who you really are, right? Like authentically. And I was like, and I think most of the time, like you are faking it out in the world. So I was like, okay, I was just looking up like, what does it mean to be real and authentic? And I was finding all these like dumb pop psychology, like things like 10 ways to tell that someone's real, or 10 ways to tell that someone's faking it.
Yeah.
And they're so dumb. Like, they lack direction, or like they're always like saying yes to things. They're flaky. And so I was like, oh, I'll use these as like little prompts and games to like trick my guest into being a fake person. So at the end of it, yeah, I judge like if they're fake or not. That was the whole thing. But then I really like the Eric Andre show. And I wanted to like add little elements of that, like not fully. Like I'm not gonna not shower for a year to like fuck with anyone, but or like put like rotting seafood under someone's like seat. But I do like the sort of like mess with the person element. So I tried to like bring a little bit of that in, and that's where like the games come in, and like where the weird editing comes in. Yeah.
Did you? So how many episodes were you able to?
I did 12, and okay, I have 2 more that I did film. I was like so burnt out on the editing, and I like put them in my computer because I also just use iMovie. Like I am not a professional. I am such an amateur, and I like put an episode in there, and it's so long because like it's probably like an hour and something, and I'm cutting it down. And they're still long for YouTube. Like I'm just like, no one's watching this. It's like 15 minutes long. And I just couldn't. I was like, oh, I just simply can't do this right now. I have no capacity to try to like mess with it. So sorry to those 2 guests who I filmed it with, and they're just like, where the hell? I spent so long with you, you dumb bitch.
But are they really saying that?
I don't know. They've probably forgotten about it completely. I'll release them someday, and they're like, oh yeah, I did that.
I look different. That was years ago. What happened?
Yeah, truly. I do need to get back to it though. I think also I was doing it when I was working part-time as a behavioral technician with kids with autism, so I had more time on my hands. I like got a full-time job, and that really, I think that's when I was starting to really burn out on because I was still trying. But I think I used that part of my brain at work all day. So then trying to do it after work with the editing was like not.
I get it.
The vibe. I need to just do improv and comedy after work to like massage the daily grind out.
Yeah. Definitely. I mean, you kind of do have to balance. I work with numbers all day, so I have to do this. That's my balance. Talk to creative people.
Yeah, it's what do you do?
I'm an actuary.
Actuary, right? And I know exactly what that is, but for the listener, if you could just for the listeners out there who don't,
slick. That's the smoothest tactic I've ever heard.
I am very smart. I went to Obama's high school, so I definitely know what an actuary is. I'm intelligent, but not to say that the listener's not intelligent, listener. Don't. That's not what I meant at all. I'm isolating the audience now. That's not what I meant. No, I don't know what it is. What is it?
The shorthand is actuaries price risk. So, to put it in real terms, there's an actuary behind how much insurance you pay for your car, for your house, for your rental. They figure out what's the probability that somebody's going to have a car accident based on what we know about them. It's a male under 25, high risk. So their rates are going to be higher. So it's kind of that.
Oh, my goodness.
But I work with pension plans. Everybody's favorite, especially in the comedy community, is retirement planning.
Yeah.
They are so focused on their 401k.
Yep. Yes.
So that's me.
Oh, that sounds
very exciting.
Yeah. Well, I do need to know though, how are you deciding the risk for pension plans? Like what's the...
Well, there's studies that develop for mortality tables, so the probability of dying, and so you calculate that to determine somebody who earns $100 or who's going to get paid $100 a month for their retirement, based on probabilities of death and sometimes other factors. How much does that cost today?
That is wild. That's so interesting. I don't want to get dark and weird, but like, because I work for a social impact company right now, and we work with AARP sometimes, and I don't know if I can say that. It doesn't matter. Maybe you could. I don't, maybe you should leave it. But and they're focused on like aging and like and equity around aging because there's so many factors that like a certain group of people, mainly like white males, well, rich white males, live just like much longer than most people, just due to like better access to healthcare, like. And like there's also studies that like racism like experiencing racism actually does like lower your quality of health, and is linked to like higher risk of heart disease and stuff like that. So it's like interesting to hear that because you're looking at these numbers and these numbers are like based on so many structural inequities that people can't overcome. So that's anyway. That was not fun. It was not a fun conversation, and I brought the mood down, and I apologize.
No apologies on my podcast.
Oh, that's right. Sorry.
All right, well, let's take this intermission, and we will. So we're gonna play the "Where Should We Begin" game. We've got 2 cards, and Syd, you're gonna pick the one that you want read to you.
Okay.
And just point to the one you want read to you.
This one.
That one. Okay. All right. So you're going to read that one to me, and I'll answer it, and then I'll read this one to you, and you'll answer it.
Oh, this is kind of deep. Okay. If I could see into the future, I would want to know.
Oh, I would want to know that my son is happy, family, just continuing his obsession with Transformers and Legos. That's all I need.
Oh,
that's all I need.
That's amazing. How old is your son right now?
He's 17.
Oh, I love that.
Yeah.
That's cool.
Yeah.
What is he like? So he's into Transformers, like the movies or just like the actual?
The figures as well as the movies. He can break down characters and their history and their lore and like. Yeah,
amazing.
It's crazy.
Amazing.
Encyclopedic knowledge. And so he wants to be an engineer, and he actually wants to design toys.
Oh, amazing. Well, good for him.
Yeah.
It's going to happen. It's definitely going to happen.
I think so.
Yeah.
He's very, very driven and motivated.
That's great. Yeah. Well, good job to you,
Thank
Mom.
you.
And he'll blame you for all his successes.
Exactly.
So,
Yeah, none of the failures. Okay. Ooh, this one's going to be fun. I'm just like, this paint still on my... Okay. All right, Syd. You have to answer. If I was going to get fired tomorrow, it would be for...
Oh, yeah, just being terrible at my job. I'm awful at it. I'm the one so bad at it. Every day, I'm surprised I haven't been fired. Every day, I'm like, today's the day. They're going to find out I'm a fraud. I don't know what I'm doing. I sit here every day and I panic. And I wait till the last minute to do things. I'm just like, I don't know what's going on. Yeah, just general not keeping up with the pace.
Do you ever worry that this like and I since you and I have now had this deep conversation for 43 minutes, do you ever think that like the self-deprecating and this like is it actual reality or is it just so ingrained in your personality that you can't not knock yourself down?
Yeah, I think that's a great question. And it's probably a little of both. I think I'm like very reticent to like say that I'm good at anything because I think you can always get better at something. And I recognize that at my job, I have no motivation to get better at it.
Okay.
Because like I have so much motivation to get better at improv, to get better at sketch, to get better at stand-up, to be a better actor. Like because I love doing that. And I am interested in seeing myself grow in that way. But yeah, I don't think I'm like great at anything. But yeah, I do think it's so ingrained. Like I think that, and maybe it's like a safety mechanism of like, well, you're not that good at it, so you tried, so good job. Like that, you did the best you could, to not like so that I can delude myself to keep doing things.
I do have to say that there is, and I've had conversations with comics who say, I make sure that I work a very mindless, task-oriented job because I'm saving my brain for the performance side. So there's nothing wrong with that as a strategy. Yeah. To do that.
Yeah, I definitely need to work a more mindless job. But this job, I think like it's just so flexible.
Yeah.
And I get to work from home, so like if I if I book something, you know, I can like just sneak away or like, you know, if I do suddenly come up with like something I need to write down, I can just do it. But yeah, it definitely takes up so much of my brain space.
Do you knock yourself down on the improv and sketch and the other stuff as much, do you think?
A little, I think, not improv, cause like, but I think it's the nature of improv and how it's taught to you, right? Of like, there are no wrong answers. It's just like, I mean, I am hard on myself. Like, I'm sure, like I work with my friend Lewis. We have a duo troupe called Lucid, but I can be hard on the performances, and like we always debrief and we're like, okay, here's what we could have done better, blah blah blah. But I find that it's more productive. It's not so much putting down. It's more like, here are the places that we can improve, and it's not just like, oh, I suck.
Yeah.
Whereas, I mean, I've started to grow out of that in my comedy pursuits. I really used to like shit on myself for everything. Now I just shit on myself about like other things, not as much the comedy. It's just like, oh, here's where I want to improve, and I think here's the steps to do that. So yeah.
Good.
Growth.
That's very good. Keep doing that.
Yes.
Keep growing. Keep not trashing yourself.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, like, do you not ever? I guess I assume that everyone is just like me, and then I'm realizing like no, like no one like thinks that they're bad. Like no one spirals. No one like, I don't know, has dark thoughts all day long. I guess, do you not like feel that way about any parts of your life, or like have anxieties that like you're not as good at things as you think?
So my defense mechanism, because I think I would, is staying nonstop busy.
Yeah.
So that I don't have to think about, you know, I'm failing at this, I'm failing at that. Because I'm a perfectionist. I'm a numbers person. So my analytical brain is always breaking things down. How could it have been better? You know, this shouldn't have happened. So I'm very analytical about things. But the way that I kind of protect myself from destroying myself is by staying super busy. So I guess rather than go to therapy, I just overbook myself.
I feel that. I feel the same way. I think that's why I'm like always doing things.
That's why you don't sleep, and you're always doing things.
Although I also do go to therapy, so I don't know what's going on. I'm just a mess.
You could just podcast here, and I would just, you know.
Yeah, I have made some great strides today with you.
So I'm trying this new little, well, now it's not so new, but I've done it a handful of times, where I'm going to ask you to tell me something about your current favorite joke. And since you're not doing a ton of stand-up, it could be just your current favorite something in comedy.
Yeah.
But you can't tell me anything about the actual, you can't like say words from the joke.
Sure.
What I want you to tell me is, why is it your favorite right now?
Yeah.
What is it that brings you joy about it?
Well, I can't, it is a joke that and it's not necessarily new, but it was new when I was like more actively doing comedy. But it took me so long to find this therapist. Like I saw several therapists, and sometimes it would be wild. Like there was a woman, and I really wanted to see her because she seemed great. But like I just started realizing that her life was very difficult, and I would feel like, oh, I need to check in with her. Like I would hear her kids like running around in the background, and then she'd be like, I just came from my second job where I work with kids all day, and I was like, oh my gosh. And like one time she answered like while she was driving, and she was like, so sorry, I'm just like almost home from my job. I was like, I feel so bad for her. And then another person was like more of a coach, which I just like did not need at the time. And she was like, how do we manifest like blah blah? And I was like, oh, I can't. This is not what I need. Like absolutely not.
Can't imagine that works with your personality.
No. I was like, how dare you? Like I was like, there are systems in place. No. And yeah, I was just like going through all these things, and I was just thinking, I was like, you know, I got so lucky with my partner. I met him at the Japanese grocery store I was working at. He came in. I thought he was cute. I hit on him very hard, very awkwardly. I was just following him around the store. He like left, but then he came back and gave me his number, and like I've just been with him ever since. So I never had to like date like that. Like I never had to do the online thing. I never had to like, and this felt like that a little, except I had to pay. So it was like double awful. I was like, this is like dating sucks. You like spend an hour with or longer with this person, and then it just like goes nowhere. So like I was working on like, I won't say the joke, but I was working on stuff around that, and that had been fun. Like coming up with like more tags and just like fleshing that out. I was enjoying it. Yeah.
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 Okay. Cool.
Yeah.
What are you working on that that you'd want us to know about?
Yeah, Juice. I think come see Juice Bar. Like it's a really good time. Even when the audience is small, I think people enjoy. And also Lucid. Please come see Lucid when we're playing, because yeah, I really respect Lewis as a performer. I think he's so like good. He's such a good listener and really good at like just like yes-anding, like adding to the scene. So those two things I would say, like, please come see us. It's very fun.
Yeah. And where can we see Lucid? Because it's not an explicit show.
It's true.
It's a team.
It's a team thing. Yeah. Actually, so if you follow me on Instagram at Syd Goin, so SYDBEGOIN. This feels awful. I hate this. I want to vomit. If you follow me on Instagram, I post, most of the time I'll post our shows.
Okay.
And Juice Bar. If you just follow Juice Bar ATX, or if, look up Juice Bar ATX, I think. Follow us there. The group's very good at posting there. And we're always at Fallout. Okay. So we're some Tuesday of the month. I think the second Tuesday of every month.
Fourth Tuesdays.
Oh my God.
Sorry. I'm apologizing.
No. Thank you so much for doing that. I'm gonna get kicked out of Juice Bar, and that's fine, and I should be. I'm the worst member. I am so bad at.
Why are you the worst member?
Well, I just we have a nice Discord that everyone is very active on. I never know when things are happening. I always text one of the people. I'm just like, hey, so like, where's rehearsal today? And like, what's going on today? And everyone's like, Syd, we have a whole Discord. Like, what are you doing? But yes.
Okay, so you are still living in dark ages, it sounds like.
Yeah, in some ways. Like I said, I'm growing in the comedy realm where I can be like, okay, don't shit on yourself, just here's how you can grow.
Yeah.
And then in all other aspects of my life, it's still just you're a pile of shit. Just
No. I don't think I can make that a title. Syd Goin.
A pile.
She's not a pile of shit.
But in a way, it's so fitting.
Okay, so now I actually want to circle back to the very beginning of our conversation.
I love a circle back.
Yes, because I started by saying I've not met you. I did get to see you perform at Sketchfest, but everybody that talked about you said you were like just really sweet, really kind. So now that I really feel like I know your personality, now tell me the truth. How did that feel hearing that?
It always feels really good. I think, and then part of me is like, I'm a fraud. But I think I'm just like hard on myself, because I would love to be nice 100% of the time.
Yeah.
And I know that I'm not. Like I know that, I'm very sensitive. So sometimes if I feel like someone's done something to hurt me or to hurt someone I know, I won't be. It's not that I'll be mean. I just like won't be as like warm, because I like to be warm with people, and I think I too quickly am warm with people sometimes. Like I'm very trusting, and it's like, but I'm also quick to, that trust can be broken quickly.
Yeah.
So, and I hate that. I want everyone that I meet to feel that I genuinely connected with them and I'm seeing them. Like that's really what I want.
Yeah.
And I just know that doesn't happen all the time. So I think that's why I'm just like, because I can be rude to like, especially my partner, my family, my really good friends who I know won't leave me.
Yeah.
It's like I can be very short. and I don't love that.
Well, that's how I am.
Yeah.
So I relate 100% to that. I try to be very, very nice to the outside world. I try to be nice. Like this is an intergenerational home, so I have to take care of my mom. I've got to take care of my son.
Oh wow.
And
Oh my gosh, wow.
yeah.
Oh, that's
So yeah,
good.
they bear the brunt.
You
So I get it.
Yeah, but you're doing so much. Caretaking is it's so hard.
Yeah.
It's such and you're doing you're taking care of your kid and your mom. That's just like such a
Yeah.
sorry. Also because we are working on like a child care project at work and just how difficult it is for parents and like we're not even focusing on that elder care like aspect
Right.
of it, which so many people are doing both, and people have had to like quit their jobs and
Yeah.
like they can't afford to like live their lives anymore. It's like I'm very impressed, and I hope that you are also taking care of yourself.
I try.
Yeah.
Not as much as I should, need to, but my son got his driver's license this past week, so I
Okay.
think that's going to change
Okay.
things a
Good.
lot.
Good.
But back to you, Syd. So I totally understand and relate you sometimes you're snappy and short with the people that are closest to you because
Yeah.
they've seen you at your best and worst, and so
Yeah.
as long as it balances out and you're nice other times, then
Yeah.
it's okay.
Okay. Well, I thank you, and again, thank you for this therapy session. I feel like I know exactly the steps I need to take now.
Yes. And I'm not even going to charge 200 whatever bucks.
Yes.
for
Let
it.
me know what my
That's the
copay
bonus.
is. I do have Aetna. Do you take that?
No. You're
no.
going to have to file on your own.
No therapist is in network. No good therapist is in network,
yeah,
as I've
that's
learned.
True. Yes. This is why I don't, because it's just such a mess.
So expensive.
Inexpensive.
Oh,
Yeah.
I look at my like bills every month, and I'm just like, really, that much, and I'm still here, still a mess. No.
Well, before we wrap up, Syd, is there anything that that you haven't talked about that you'd like people to know?
No, it was so. Thank you so much for the research that you did. That's so nice of you. And just thank you for having me. I really appreciated the opportunity.
Yeah.
This has been really fun. You're an extremely engaging host.
Oh, thank you.
So yeah, thank you so much. I just really appreciate the time.
Oh, I'm blushing. That was very nice. So, Syd, I have a closing question.
Hit me.
It's one word to describe your future.
Oh God, my future. Oh, I see. Because you asked one word to describe my past. Okay.
Hmm.
Future. I think my future is, gosh, and it's like now just every word that I've ever known is no longer available to me. The pressure.
Always happens.
Yeah. I think my future could be described as orange, which I mean, I think it's a lot of things. Because when you say orange, you could mean a fruit, you could mean a color, and
Yeah.
it doesn't rhyme with anything. So, so in that way, it is unique to itself. And yeah, I hope that my future holds a lot of surprising and unique things, like an orange, where it could be many things. Oh Lord, that was the worst, but I think that suffices.
And just like what I've been telling you with people that I talk to about you, they say you're really nice. An orange can also be sliced up, hopefully never in a literal way, but sliced up and shared with friends.
Oh, you're right.
Do you
You're
like
right.
that? Do you like
I loved it. I loved it. Yes, so beautiful. In fact, an orange comes sliced up to be shared, right? Because you open it and it's already in little slices.
Yes.
So,
Oh my
so
gosh.
yeah.
So profound. All right. Well, that is a wrap on Comedy Wham present. Oh, I'm verklempt. See, this is how I deal with compliments. Is I just like,
You just
what?
become
What just
a
happened?
puddle. Yeah.
That's a wrap on Comedy Wham presents Syd Goin. Syd Goin. Syd Goin.
You had it.
Okay.
It just flowed out a little.
See, I can't handle compliments. Okay. Syd, tell us where we can find you on social media and those projects that you've got.
Yes. So that's, again, my Instagram is Syd B Goin, SYDBEGOIN. I'm mostly active on there. I also have a YouTube channel, but you can find that in my link tree on Instagram. And yeah, please come see Juice Bar. We're at the Fallout the fourth Tuesday of every month. And Lucid, with my friend Lewis and I post our shows whenever they happen randomly on my Instagram.
Very good. Well, we hope you've enjoyed learning about how Syd, and just this is how I always close, so sit with it.
Oh, no.
We hope you've enjoyed learning about how Syd got to be the comedic genius that you heard today just as much as I have.
Sorry. Do you have a bucket? I'm gonna be ill.
This has been Comedy Wham presents Syd Goin. I'm Valerie, and that's been funny. Thank you so much, Syd.
Thank you so much, Valerie.